Hello there, my name's Dave Gammon. I'm the founder of Sixth Sense Business, and I want to welcome you to the High Potential program. So let me give you a bit of background about this program. So over the last decade, I've been working with small and medium-sized businesses, and I've run a number of programs aimed at specific functional roles such as sales, customer service, management, supervision. And I realised over a period of time that most of the content of those programs boiled down, in fact, about 80% of the program was the same, irrespective of who I was training on, what role they fulfilled. So I kind of consolidated all of that learning into what I now call the High Potential program, which is the program that you're going to be going through with me. So you're on this program because you've been identified as someone with high potential, someone who has the ability to either go further within the company or to become even more performant than their current position. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going to be happening. So you're going to be working with me over a 10-week period. We're going to be using this platform primarily, but there'll be a combination of both coaching and training some ideas in you about what it means to operate at your highest potential. So all of the sessions are going to be online, so you don't actually need to leave your place of work. You just need to make sure that at the requisite time, you're in the right place on this platform. You're going to be working in a small group. There's going to be people from other companies in on this program as well. And I think this is important because it helps you to build new connections, which I think is one of the big ways that our confidence grows. But there'll still be plenty of time as well for me to do some individual support work with you on the program. But I will be getting you to reach out to each other at various stages through the program. You're also going to do 3 one-to-one sessions directly with me, which again will be using this platform. And the reason I like to do the one-to-one sessions is to make sure that I'm helping you specifically with the challenges that you face in your role, and that we can use the content of the program to be directly relevant for you. And your line manager is going to receive a roadmap at the beginning of this program, the same roadmap that you have, which will show them the progress that you should make as you go through and what different elements you will have covered by what point. So I suppose it's worth just spending a moment thinking about what does it mean to be highly performant, and what are the things that affect our performance? So I think there are 3. First of all, performance is a function of activity, i.e. how much of the thing you're supposed to do you do? And obviously performance can be improved by doing more activity, but then we come up against the barrier of time. So, you may run out of time. And then in tandem with activity, the next kind of point of performance is the approach you take to the work you do. So the way you go about doing what it is you do, and how you can improve that as a way of improving performance. Hopefully, without having to do more activity, you can get more by nuancing and improving the approach you take to your job. And both of these things, activity and approach, are both mediated by attitude. And attitude, very simply for me, is the way you show up in the role you are paid to do, and the way you show up in the different sort of situations that you encounter, both good and bad. And attitude's been something of interest for me. So do you think attitude is nature or nurture? Do you think you're just born with a certain identity? I don't think that's true. You learn your attitude as you grow up. You learn how to respond, how to perceive and respond to different situations. So I think when we look to improve our attitude, all we're really doing is to look past what is, I think, a case of mistaken identity. And we're looking to see who we are when we're at our very best. Because when we're at our very best, that's when we show up in a good attitude. And when it comes to being in a business, high performance to me is a function of these four things. It's about your ability, number one, to calibrate yourself. So by calibrate is to recognize how you are showing up in any particular moment. Secondly, is your commercial acuity. So in order to perform highly in a company, you need to understand enough of the fundamentals of what a commercial business is to be able to make really good, well-rounded and informed decisions and choices. Thirdly, high performance is a function of your ability to take action. But I use a very specific term, which is to take clean action. So clean action is to choose the right choices in the right sequence to get done what needs to be done. And finally, high performance is a function of how well you develop relationships with the people that you need on board in order to achieve your outcomes, whether they be customers, suppliers, your boss, your peers, or your team members. So when all of these things are working well together, you create this high performance zone, the center of these four circles. So what are you going to get from this program? First of all, I'm going to help you develop your own self-awareness, i.e. to become aware of how it is you show up, but also to point you at where you can find the confidence, resilience, and commitment you need to deliver to your highest potential, no matter what is going on around you. Secondly, we're going to work on how you develop and grow these relationships that you need with others so that you can get your stuff done. So whether you're in a role where you're required to sell to customers, to negotiate with suppliers, to manage a team, and of course, let's not forget your relationship with your boss. Thirdly, I'm going to help you develop a level of commercial and awareness to the point where you're able to make really good, balanced commercial decisions, even when you're under pressure. And finally, I'm going to give you a simple framework for problem solving, planning, and dealing with any situation that may come up in your day-to-day working environment. So imagine that no matter what was going on around you, you had a framework you could access that would enable you to plan your way forward from whatever is going on. So it's a busy slide coming up now, but I do want to run you through the syllabus. So this is a 10-week program. There's going to be an introduction session where you're going to get to meet the other people on the program on this platform, and there'll be a bit of preparation work I'll be asking you to do, and we'll cover off all of the administration. The next module, we're going to look at identity. We're going to look at why you show up the way you do and how you can access your absolute best version of yourself whenever you need it. In the next module, we're then going to start to look at how you then bring yourself and show up yourself in the relationships you have with other people. And we're going to explore some ideas that will enable you to develop really purposeful working relationships with the people that you need to have relationships with. And it's really important in the world of commerce that we understand that every relationship has a purpose. So we don't relate with people just because we want to relate with people. There is an outcome we are striving for. We're then going to look at how the customer views things. So how does your customer sit in the marketplace? And how does that customer experience shape how they think about the company and how they think about you? We're then going to go on and look at the economics of the business so that you can begin to recognize and kind of calibrate yourself for the impacts of decisions and actions on profitability and cash flow, so that you're able to make the best choices available in the moment. Because in small companies, even relatively junior members of the team are asked to make decisions that they just wouldn't get to make in bigger organizations. We're also going to get you focused on your outcomes. So what is it you need to achieve in order to be highly performant in your role? So we'll be exploring both the idea of business as usual activities, i.e. the things that you do every day and that need to get done, and project-based activities, i.e. the things you're asked to do, which are a series of tasks that lead to some change in how things are done. We're then going to go on to take a look at your current state position, i.e. where are you now? What is it you are really good at and where your strengths lie and your best work lies? And as a result of that, what are the shadow, if you like, that casts? So what are the things that you need to be aware that you are not so strong at? We're then going to have a module on measurement protocol, i.e. how do you measure whether you are performing well or not, whether you are getting done what needs to get done, and also whether in the doing of that you achieve the outcomes that the company expects. And a lot of this is about your ability to be able to measure yourself, to take ownership of your own results, and whether you are getting better or worse at what it is you're trying to do. We're going to have a module on action planning, and this is kind of about how you organize yourself so that you get the important stuff done and the right stuff done. And so we're going to be looking at how, as a tendency, human beings will tend to sort tasks based on preference rather than priority, and we need to reverse that to be effective in business. We'll also do a module on obstacle management, i.e. what are the things that will keep coming up and will get in your way of getting things done, and how do you manage and deal with them? How do you move around the obstacle, over the obstacle, or under it, or just keep operating as though it wasn't even present? And then finally, we're going to look at calibration at the end of the program, which is how you can move forward, continuing to measure your performance, spending some time reflecting on how well you're doing, and also identifying what adjustments you need to make, so that if you like, you become a self-managing being. So as you can imagine with a program like this, I need to set some rules of the game up with you right from the start. And there's 3 very simple rules: wake up, show up, and do the work. So by wake up, I mean, enter this program with a few ideas in mind. One is that it is possible to effortlessly improve your performance when you shift how you show up. Secondly is that I'd like you to think about the idea you are more than you think you are, and you're capable of more than you know you are capable of. You just need to access that level. And thirdly is that you are creating your experience of work. So whilst it looks like it's the customers and the marketplace and your colleagues that create your experience, all of that experience is going on inside your own head. And I need you to begin to notice for that. So the second rule is to show up. So that is, show up at your very best. I will hold you to a higher standard than you will hold yourself. And ultimately, you'll begin to hold yourself to that standard as you integrate it, and your performance will improve without you even realizing what's happening. But that requires that you participate fully in the program, and that most importantly, you recognize in any moment the choices that you are making, the choices to behave in a certain way, the choices to see the world in a certain way, and the choices to respond to situations and other people in the ways you're choosing. And the final rule of the game is do the work. I expect you to complete all elements of the program. Now, I don't ask you to do huge amounts, huge swathes of work, but I do ask you to take ideas away, experiment with them, and then feed back into this group how you got on, so that you can begin to take action and begin to see shifts in your performance. And finally, I need you to organize yourself and take ownership of your outcomes. And by ownership, I mean, the results you're getting and the experience you're having of your work are primarily your responsibility. I need you to take that ownership. But what I can promise you is we're going to have a lot of fun. At times you may find some of what I ask you or some of what I teach you quite challenging. It's going to buff it up against a lot of well-established beliefs you have. But when you break through, you will find yourself effortlessly performing at a new higher level and full of confidence and resilience for whatever may come next from you. So the next steps is watch out for the program outline, which you're going to be receiving soon. I want you to read the Leader in You, which is the PDF, which should by now be in your hands. And I'd like you to make notes of anything that you're interested to explore further from reading that book. And thirdly, I'd like you to have a discussion with your line manager so that we begin to create some alignment between how they would like to see you change and how you would like to see yourself change. And we'll discuss that in the first element of the program. So I'm really excited to start working with you and to get to know you better and to see you go through this transformation. And I'll catch up with you really soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.